Hello again and welcome. Today's project is going to be a practice session, if you like, on an outboard turning. I'd like to thank my friend Ray Zimmer from Denmark. Ray very kindly sent me 2 propelling pencils and 1 click biro. There's no way that I can do them justice by showing you them here, but that's the pencil, and it's a very thick nibbed pencil. Beautiful work on the actual woodwork on the pencil here, and there's another one with a thinner lead, and there's also a click biro, and the click biro has actually got my name engraved on it. I'm over the moon. Thank you very much, Ray. What I'll do is put some pictures up which will hopefully do them justice, and that's Ray Zimmer from Denmark, and I'll put a link to Ray's website and any social media that he has there. Thanks, Ray, appreciate it. Now, as far as the project is concerned this week, as I said earlier, I have actually laminated pieces of scrap hardwood that came from door frames, and they are very old. I've had them myself for about 2 or 3 years. So what's happened is that I've laminated them together with Titebond Original. I haven't actually got a thicknesser or a drum sander, so I got the surfaces as flat as I possibly could. I then attached a 6-inch faceplate to the back with the 10 available holes with 1-inch screws, 25mm screws. It doesn't give me a lot of thickness to play with by the time on the other side, because I have started to turn this. I've got it round and I've started playing with it, and I thought maybe, although it's not going to be a pretty piece, you might be interested to see me doing my first outboard turning and see how it goes. I'll be putting a mortise here, and I've started that, and I've got some basic outlines there of where I'm going to be putting things, and that'll be accepting the EasyWood step jaws in expansion mode on the dovetail. And as I say, by the time I've got that to the right depth, there's not going to be a lot of thickness, about 5 or 6 mil to play with around the screw hole area, so that's going to be a bit interesting. It's going to be a very shallow platter. I'm not sure the design. It's not going to be pretty, as I say, because it's got screw holes in it which I haven't put in there for accepting various bits of door furniture when it was actually in situ as a door frame or a door sill, whatever. And also there were recesses for things like hinges and screw holes for handles and letterboxes and God knows what else. So I don't know what the furniture on there was, but there are a lot of holes, and it's not going to be a pretty sight, but it'll be good fun to turn, and I thought you might enjoy the ride with me and see what happens. What I've done, I've brought the headstock to the end of the lathe, I've swiveled it to 90 degrees, I've put the extension bed on the leg in a low position for outboard turning, I've got the extension post for my tool rest in, I've got the leg, the support leg on there as well, so okay, I'll sit back and enjoy, and we'll turn this 23.5, 24-inch diameter platter. So I've got the very basic shape of the platter from the outside, and I'm quite happy with that now. I've got a slight ogee on the edge there, and what I'm going to do now is to fill these holes with sawdust and CA glue, let that dry, and then I'll finish the back of the platter and then turn it round and hollow out the inside. Yeah, that's come up very well, very pleased with that. Okay, I'll spin him around and we'll do the inside of the bowl. So I'm stopping at the moment because, as you can see here, there's a bit of wood filler in there, I think it's wood filler, anyway, adds character. Now here there's a screw hole, which is the length of the screw. Before I go any further, even with sanding, I'm going to fill that with copious quantities of CA and sawdust. It doesn't come through the other side. Unlike this hole here, which does go through, I filled that on the other side. There's a little hole there as well. The holes for the faceplate have disappeared, so that's good. And I've got about 10-12 mil at that point to the inside of the recess, the deepest part of the recess. So I've got quite a bit to play with. But before I actually bring down the final shape and sand, I want to get these holes filled so I can go over there hopefully with a negative ray scraper without too much chatter. And that's about it, so we'll carry on. As I said, it's not going to be pretty, but I must admit I'm quite enjoying it. Right, okay. Well, it's finally finished and I'm really chuffed with it, to be honest with you, considering it was just old scrap door frames, door sills, etc. It's got a screw channel there which I uncovered as I was turning away the inside. Also, this I thought might have been wood filler, but in actual fact it's an oak dowel, and that sort of appeared as well. This hole there goes through to the back, but I mean that's not a problem. It's full of character and I'm really pleased with it. It was a great experience for me. It was a practice piece after all, as I said in the beginning, and it's been a really good learning curve. One thing I will say, one of the main things I learned is that you always work your way in and finish from the outside in, including your sanding if you can, because as you're moving in on the inside, you're taking away the mass of the wood and it starts to flex, as a small platter does, or a smaller platter, but it's magnified because of the size of the piece. And I'm able to get about 30 inches on this in total, so when I do that there'll be a lot of flexing. So anyway, all those sort of things were a learning curve for me and I thoroughly enjoyed the experience. It was really great fun. Also, when you're doing the inside and the outside indeed, because it's such an expanse and this is fairly flat and shallow, every little nuance of unevenness shows up and it's quite a difficult task, but again, it's experience. If you haven't done it before, you've got to start somewhere. So as far as that's concerned, I thoroughly enjoyed it, and thank you for sticking with me. Before I go, at UKIS in a couple of weeks' time, last video I said there was a guest turner to be announced. Well, that turner actually had been announced just before I put the video up, and it's been a couple of weeks since I've done a video. It's going to be Stuart Farini. Most of you in the UK and even in other parts of the world will know Stuart. Stuart specialises in colouring and texturing, and he's a great guy, lovely character. Had the pleasure of meeting him up at Birmingham a couple of months ago, and I'm looking forward to meeting him again at UKIS. So whatever you do, don't miss his demo, because it'll be full of fun and it'll be a very interesting demonstration. And I'll put a link to Stuart's channel down below, and if you haven't subscribed to his channel yet, go across and do so. I think that just about covers it. Thank you very much indeed for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you very soon. Cheers now.